I get a lot of questions from people about how to use the internet effectively to meet partners, men or women. Now, if you've read much of what I've written, or watched the show for that matter, you're going to know that I really recommend people don't use the internet to meet partners. It's a terrible way to go, and there's a lot of reasons why. If you're a guy trying to meet girls, you need to understand that it's a very artificial situation, and technology generally is in that case. It's a big filter. Imagine, too, that the average woman gets between 200 and 1,000 responses to her personal ad on the internet. That means if you respond to somebody, you're only one in maybe 1,000, or maybe more. It's very hard to stand out in that kind of crowd, and it's also very artificial. Where do you go in life where you have 1,000 people trying to meet the same girl? It's very rare. So, with that alone, it's a bad idea. And in fact, it's very, very easy to meet women in person anyway. And if you don't know about how to do that, of course, check the website. There's lots of information there about that. But there's a number of other problems with the internet. First of all, it's, as I mentioned before, it is a big filter. And as you get to know somebody, you get their response back. So you get to sit there and think about the response and kind of perfectly craft the response you think they want to hear. And then you send that off. And you wait and you wait. Then they do the same thing. They think about it and they craft exactly what they think you want to hear and send it back to you. And that's how it goes. So you're now building an impression of this person, not based on who they really are, but based on other things. You know, your brain is a tremendous tool, and it takes in information at a tremendous rate. Most experts put around 50 to 60,000 impressions per second. Some put it as high as 2.5 million impressions per second. And there's a whole series of tools in your brain that filters out stuff you don't need. But that aside, you see, when you're sitting across the table from somebody and talking to them, you get to notice things like the dilation of their eyes, the flush of their skin, maybe a slight cock of their head, or little eye movements that you wouldn't otherwise get to notice. And all of this helps you to build an impression of who they are. And the impression is well practiced. You've been doing it all your life. On the internet, you get none of that. But it doesn't mean your brain doesn't stop producing impressions. But if it doesn't have the real impression to produce, where does it get it from? Easy. Your dreams, your goals, your desires, your wants, etc. So what it's doing is it's taking and putting in all those things into place about the person that you want to be there, not what's really there. So that's a huge challenge. And a lot of people meet on the internet, and they even begin starting relationships, only to find out this wasn't the person they thought they were in the first place, and they think 6 months or a year down the road, now all of a sudden this person's changed. No, they haven't changed. They are really the same person. The difference is you didn't want to accept who they were when you met them. You imbued them with all these other things that you wanted them to be. So if you're going to use the internet anyway, and obviously I can't keep you from doing that, you're going to have to realize you've got to get to the personal meeting as soon as you possibly can. The internet should only be for an introduction. Just find out basic things. Is this person generally the kind of person I'm looking for? Do they look reasonably attractive, somebody I would be willing to date? Do they have some of the attributes that I'm looking for? Are they close enough? Very important. Long-distance relationships often start over the internet, and they're a waste of your time. So get to the first meeting. Get to know this person. Don't allow yourself to build a lot of impression about this person before actually getting out there to meeting them. And obviously, you want to do it in a safe environment. I mean, that's all pretty straightforward. Meet, in a public place, etc. But so there's some information about using the internet. Hope that helps you out.